Glioblastoma is the most common, most aggressive type of brain tumor.
Just has a dismal prognosis. It's a devastating disease.
The worst form of brain cancer.
It's a tough disease.
It is a fatal cancer.
We've been working on therapies for glioblastoma for the better part of a century, but basically people don't have a meaningful treatment that can help them through that.
My mom was my best friend. So we grew up, it was just me and my mom in our house and the dogs. And it was, I think, a unique way to grow up, but I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. So I was 17, I was going into my senior year of high school, and she sat me down on the couch, and she had been having migraines. So just as a precaution, she was going to go get a scan, just to make sure everything was okay. They found what they thought was a malignant brain tumor at the time. They don't know what the prognosis is.
Betsy is Mike Slonina's mom. She did come to see me in the brain tumor center, right? And so imagine you're there in that period of time between when somebody says, I think you might have a brain tumor, and then you see the specialist. That's a very scary thing.
You just go completely numb. And so I turned to basketball like I did every other time in my life when there was a challenge. And that did lead to the start of A Shot for Life. Shot for Life is the only talent-based high school charity sports program in the world. So our biggest event right now is called the ASFL Gauntlet. All ages, all skill levels, and that's really the highlight of our year. Hundreds of players play, and it's symbolic of the around-the-clock struggle that cancer patients go through, that we're not gonna leave the floor as an event for a full day, just like a cancer patient doesn't get to take a time out from being a cancer patient. It was important to me to support where my mom was being treated, and my mom was getting excellent care at the Mass General Cancer Center, and so it was important to me that her and patients like her would directly benefit from the efforts that we were putting in. My mom found out probably a month or two before the first event that it was probably going to be okay, that whatever is on that biopsy likely is not a malignant brain tumor. Now it's the mission to make this thing much bigger so that we can impact these people on a much larger scale.
So Mass General Brigham, one of its unique features is this extensive collaborations between the scientists as well as the clinician scientists, the people that think about how to bring a therapy that seems very promising in the laboratory to the patient. It's going to be the way in which we can understand how best to treat glioblastoma.
For us, the pivotal moment was probably 2023, because that's when we first started treating our patients with this new product that we had engineered in the lab. I've known for a long time that the immune system is just so incredibly powerful and so specific that there had to be a way. So in the laboratory, we had this idea to have a CAR T cell recognize something that was very specific to the brain tumor, but then secrete what we call a T cell engager, a second molecule to target this other antigen called EGFR, which is also expressed in other tissues like the skin, the lungs, and the gut.
We had seen for the better part of a decade CAR T cells work in other tumor types, and so we wanted to bring that to a tumor type that was very close to us, applying it to a different type of tumor, right? A different type of tumor that causes different symptoms, is located in the brain, which is thought to be typically more difficult to treat with immunotherapy. This seemed like the logical thing to do for our patients.
My name is Tom Fraser. I'm 77 years old and I'm a cancer patient.
They brought us in a month before the CAR T. They harvested the cells, and it's engineered specific for this antigen or protein.
They set it up in the hospital, and there were 30 people in the hospital when they did the infusion. I'm there, holy cow, what's going on here?
It was an event. It was clearly an event for every staff that was there. You really felt like he was special.
You have this initial excitement of an idea that works in the laboratory, Like almost the emotional holy grail is to then put that into patient care and see it have a positive impact. When I think about Betsy and Mike facing the question of whether or not they had a brain tumor, and despite not being negatively impacted by that, having the commitment, personal motivation to create a life around that and push us, and then to bring that all together with colleagues here and actually deliver a therapy to some patients where we know that their lives are better and longer than they would have been, is, for me, the fruition of all of the goals and hopes and aspirations that I ever had.
We had a meeting with Dr. Curry and Dr. Choi last year in the spring, and we talked about the CAR T-cell therapy trial, and we said, when is that next patient getting injected? And I will never forget this. Dr. Choi looks at his watch and he said, oh, they're being treated right now. They're actually in the building. And it was such an eye-opening moment to know that that person was here and that what we're doing is having a tangible impact on people's lives. And how do you slow down when that's the case?
The goal overall is to be able to really change the way that we take care of patients with brain tumors, to think about it as a disease that we can treat, not something that is bound to come back time after time, but something that we can actually cure. I mean, I think that's what we're all working towards.
Thank you all so much for making such a big impact with us.